Everyone, it's Brian again. Um, First off, I am fighting a major flu, so you have to excuse me. One of the best things about what we do is we get to meet people. One of the worst things is we sometimes catch whatever they have and they bring in the car. So you have to excuse this is where I've been kind of, so if it's not in the bed, I've been here for the past like 4 days. Yeah, so like this past like 3 weeks or so, every like couple days I get somebody complaining of flu symptoms. I've taken quite a few people to like urgent care, and everybody's complaining about allergies and stuff like that, and I was like, oh really, that's cool. Yeah, sure. Wouldn't you know, Friday, as soon as I got home from my shift, boom, it just hit. Like, I don't know, the body works in mysterious ways, you know. As soon as I was done with my shift, actually I was like kind of shutting down. I was like, I'm gonna start going home. As soon as I started going home, I could start feeling the symptoms to set in. And as soon as I got home, my body just shut down. It was like because Saturday is my day off, so it was like, okay, you're done, Brian. Your body's just like, you're done. We're gonna put you down. You're not gonna move for 2 days. I'm like, all right, cool. I guess I don't move for 2 days. And I'm one of the types where I don't take any kind of medication or nothing. When I get sick, I just suffer through it, let the body go through it, and I have some like homeopathic stuff that I take, drink some tea, but really I don't even eat. I just fast, and I just kind of go through it, and the people around me, they hate me for it. But it is what it is. So I wanted to do this quick Q&A video about my other tutorials, about some common stuff that I see about my whole theory on skipping and surge being a tool for us drivers, and the price isn't going to rise if we provide our cars for cheap. That's kind of the bottom line. So the first one, which is usually the hot topic, is deactivation. It depends on your market. If you're from my standpoint, if you're in a market that's like above $1.50 per mile, it's not there yet. I really don't think Uber is. They're probably still learning the market. They're still. I mean, it took a good 3 years before they started cutting rates and chopping up the city into different surge zones, and they still trying to get the information from each market. So your city might not be good, or your market might not be good for this if you're like above $1.50. This is why. But once they start cutting, and they start cutting fast, and they start cutting down to $1.75, 70, like, is it 50 cents in Kentucky? I don't know which one's the cheapest one, really. But yeah, that's why they're doing it, because they want you to learn how to use this. And I know you guys think I'm crazy for thinking this, but they're not going to come out and say it. They're done. Nope. Do you think they're actually going to come out and say, hey, you guys need to stop giving the cheap rides to make the surge go up, and then you can take the good rides? Do you think they're actually going to come out and say that? No, they're not going to come out and say, you have to learn how to do it. They're not going to teach you jack about the software. You got to learn how to do it. They make their improvements, which causes headaches, but you have to learn how to do it. But another thing about deactivation, like I said in my other videos, if you have any hesitation about doing this, or just going forward with canceling rides because you're afraid you're going to get deactivated, get in an email correspondence with them. Ask them specifically, is it okay if you this is what I've kind of rewarded what I've been telling drivers to do, but really just because this is the truth. Ask them, is it okay if you cancel rides that you believe are not profitable? Period. That's it. That's all. This is a money-making operation, and that's what it's about: making money and profit. So Saturday is my normal day off. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Where are we on Thursday? Wednesday. I can't even think. Wednesday. So 4 days of me not driving. No sick time. No FMLA time for that. No what are those free days that you get to like use at work? I don't know. It's been so long since I've had an actual job, whatever it's called. There's none of that stuff there. So you gotta save up a little bit for when these things happen, because that's 4 days. Of those 4 days, 2 of them were really big prime days for me, personally, and yeah, there's nothing. So yeah, this is the way you gotta think of when you're out there driving. Not only your car, but your health too, and your sick time, vacation time, stuff just to enjoy life. You gotta save up for that stuff. Yes. So like I said, get a response from Uber. Recently, there's been some drivers, in particular in the Chicago market, that have one that I've been in contact with that is providing me emails from Uber about him being deactivated. And I don't know what it is about that Chicago market. Or see, the thing is, I don't. We speculate as drivers as to who controls the actual, who oversees the deactivation policy. Is it the local manager there, or is it Uber in the corporate office? Some of us think it's the local manager there. I mean, if it's the local manager, and it's horrible for me to say, but they're being douchebags. They seriously are just effing with people big time. They're effing with you guys. For one thing, the email that they sent this driver, it wasn't even a full 12-hour deactivation. It was like 10 hours of deactivation. They deactivated him right when their local office closed. They reactivated him right before it opened. So he couldn't do anything about it. This is the kind of immature bullshit that we have to deal with. And the wording of the email itself. If you're going to deactivate somebody, Uber, maybe this is going out to Uber especially. If you're going to deactivate somebody, you know what, you guys always say, oh yeah, you're our partners. Well, why don't you just treat us like freaking adults? And when in the language of the email, it said something like, your cancellations are not on par with some of your peers. Okay, I'll accept that. But tell me what specifically are the numbers of my peers and what qualifies me as a peer. A full-time driver? Are you comparing me to a full-time driver? Are you comparing me to these part-time drivers? Who are my peers? Are you comparing me to somebody who drives like not in my market but maybe in a different surge area that's bigger? Who are my peers? And then on average, what is the average? Provide us with this stuff, Uber. To treat us like freaking adults. Stop treating us like these freaking... And you wonder why you get all these problems, because you treat us like immature assholes. And we're not. We're trying to be business people. We're trying to provide for our families. And you're treating us like freaking like little 5-year-olds, toddlers in the kindergarten playground. Well, this is the problems that you're getting. This is exactly what you guys are feeding this, and this is the kind of shit that you're getting. You guys are feeding this. Period. So and then again, the guy, he kept on going, and he got deactivated again. But the thing is, the guy, the driver, he didn't pursue it. That's the problem. You guys are not pursuing this. You guys aren't going to the local office. Don't just email them, because they'll freaking ignore the email. They don't give a fuck about the email. They're just like, whatever. Because they know it's a waiting game. They'll just wait you out. And another thing about their deactivation that's bush is they deactivate you at a time when they don't need you. During the week, Tuesday through Thursday. Bad boy. Don't do it again. This is bullshit, because they need you on the weekend. That's why they do it. These freaking like mental games they play with you are just insane. It drives me fucking crazy. And it should drive all of you guys crazy. All this other stuff that you guys are complaining about, really about the fares is it does drive you guys crazy. And it's good that it drives you guys crazy, because it drives me crazy too, because they're not treating us like, the quote-unquote business partners that they should be treating us. They're just really just treating us like trash, like junk. And it's ridiculous. This is the problems that they get. They treat us like trash and junk, and that's what happens. They get trash and junk drivers, period. So number 2 on my list of questions or topics is when I'm canceling, choosing the do not charge and other. I don't know about this one. I always choose other. That's just me. To me, other means what I'm choosing it for. It's the ride is too cheap. If there was an option that said this ride is too cheap, I choose that one. But they don't put that there because they know they're not going to put that there. As soon as you put that option there, people are going to start choosing. Be like, why is this option there? So do not charge riders. Like, sometimes you get a request and somebody calls you like immediately. Hold on. So sometimes they call you immediately, and they're new, and they don't know how to use the app, and they're like, I don't know how to cancel. The app is really, sometimes, they changed that thing so many times. The driver app just got pushed. The new update is horrible. It's horrendous. I'll give them a couple days, maybe they'll fix it. But, But yeah, I mean the driver at the partner app, the rider app is always getting updated. So yeah, new people they don't know how to use that stuff. So yeah, they call you. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll cancel for you. No problem. Have a good day. Oh, thank you. Just be kind. But I mean, for other, that's what other. For to me, that's what other is there for. It's for, um, it's exactly what it is. Other. It, to me, yeah, the ride is too cheap. Other. That's what it is. And actually, actually, with the new update, the do not charge is like in the middle of the screen now. So it was like do not charge, and then it's gonna be other, but the do not charge is like right in the before when the do not or the cancel trip. Sorry, I'm not saying do not charge. I'm saying should be saying cancel trip. So when the cancel trip option was at the bottom of the screen, it was just easier for me to use my thumb. So it was more of a mechanics thing for me. That's why I use other. It was easier for me to press cancel trip and other. It was just instead of doing cancel trip and then moving all the way up the screen, it was kind of like just like gooey thing or something. I don't know. Just the way the app was designed, it was just easier for me, especially when I'm driving. Just to do it kind of with my thumb, cancel trip other, just kind of move on. But to me, other is there because that's what I believe it's there for. Is others to tell the system like no, it's other. It's too cheap. So cancel trips that show up on the next one is cancels. Show up on the your cancellations. Show up on your trip history sometimes, and then sometimes they don't. I don't know. Drivers go back and forth about this thing so many times. I get down. I get so worn out about talking about this specific one. People are just trying to understand it. Like they want to know what's Uber thinking. Like why? I need to know. The drivers are like, I need to know where these cancellations. Why are they showing up there? Why? It's like they're just showing up. I mean, the app is the engineers at Uber are going to they're going to hate me for saying this, but the app is a piece of junk like 80% of the time. You know, sometimes they show up on the trip history, sometimes they show up on the web portal, sometimes they don't show up at all. They used to show up more on the web portal, now they very rarely show up on the web portal, now they're showing up more on the trip. I don't know. Just stop worrying about it. They just show up because they show up. I don't know if it's because another driver got skipped so many times, somebody else and never got picked up. I don't know. You don't know that. I don't know that. Nobody knows that. They just kind of show up. And it's like I said, it's probably because they don't. The app is it's so fickle. It's so finicky. Like half the time you're out there, it's uncooperative. And these engineers there, do they even test it before they push it to us? Does it go through like a QC process? Does it go through any kind of like, I don't know, hey, let's try it out on the road for, a couple days. At least when freaking Lyft pushes out something, you see pictures of John Zimmer like going out testing it. They hype that crap up. They're like, yeah, there's Jay-Z driving around San Francisco with this new version of the app. Oh yeah, Jay-Z. Like, dude, at least they're freaking testing it. Does Uber, show Travis is driving around like SF testing the app? I doubt it. There's like, oh yeah, here, pull this shit out. And then it just freaking fails. It just like blows up in their face, and then they wonder why. Can you please just test it? But yeah, I don't know why they don't show up. They just don't. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Big deal. Stop worrying about it. Until Uber says something to us and says, hey, we're going to start keeping track of your cancellations and put it in our partner weekly, then yeah, I'll start worrying about it. I'll be concerned about it. Be like, oh, okay. Well, then what do I have to maintain? Then just ask them. But stop worrying about it. Really, you guys are worrying about it too much. So next one is method does not work in my market. So this price negotiation, skipping, I need to come up with a better term for it. Marketplace pricing, that's what it is. Marketplace pricing methodology. I can't even speak. It doesn't work in your market. I mean, your market may not be ready. And like I said, it really has to do with price. Once they start cutting to like about $1.50, yeah, your market is pretty ready. they've probably chopped up your market into a couple of different surge zones. And, I know you guys tell me, no, it doesn't work here. It just doesn't. Just because a lot of the other drivers don't know. Period. You got to get out of your car. You got to be the little. I hate to use war terms or analogies. I hate people that do that. War is the worst thing. But you got to be the little soldier in your area, and you got to get out of your car. You got to meet friends. Say, hey man, stop giving rides for whatever default rate is, and stop giving rides for $1.25. Every time you do that, that's just where the price stays. You got to tell drivers this. You got to explain to them this. They look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you got to pound it in their heads. You just got to. Give them some flyers. Hey, I have flyers. I'm going to do a new one. But you got to. Some drivers are just not going to get it. They're just not going to get it. Which is, I don't know. It's cool by me. If they want to provide their dollar, there's still definitely passengers are going to wait for the cheap rides. And they're going to only want the cheap rides. So, yeah, so there's definitely going to be a need for those passengers. I forgot who it was. The Uber's, one of Uber's high-end managers said, yeah, they keep the price low because they keep supply high. They keep the new supply high. That's because drivers don't know. There's drivers that don't know how to use the software. They just accept the ride and just go. So yeah, it's not going to work in your market just because other drivers don't know. I know you guys are super. Every day somebody says, "Nah, you're full of shit, Brian. You don't know what you're talking about." Oh, I do, and I'm pretty arrogant about it, and I do know what I'm talking about. And this algorithm, it's a huge tool, and once you guys understand how to use it, it'll be good for all of us. And this is just another thing. This whole market pricing tool, surge pricing tool, it's just another thing for Uber to say later down the road. This is then my big thought. This is for them to say later down the road, which it might be actually tomorrow or today. I think they're supposed to have some girl, or in October. When's it October? I think that October is supposed to be some case in California about the whole employee-employer contract relationship, that whole thing. This right here is a big part of it. They can say like, hey, look, we don't control what drivers earn. They can control it themselves. And as soon as they start saying this, and I know it's going to come out, I know I read the technical stuff for you guys, and I read the contract for you guys. If I can get a hold of the actual in the courtroom documents, I'm just waiting for one of those guys to say that. It's gonna be like, oh man, it's like this thing looks like a Bible, and yeah, it's not. It's my driver log, but I'm gonna be like this, because it's gonna happen. They're gonna point to the surge pricing thing, and they're gonna say, look, we don't control the price. We don't control their wages. They can do it themselves, and that's gonna be a big freaking deal. So yeah, just know your market. It's not gonna. You just have to know number. I don't know what number we're on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. Got like 5 more. It's a long video again. No surprise. Number 5. Packs just waiting it out. So it surges, and then the surge dies down, and then they flood your phone with requests. That's kind of just nature that we all are. Everybody wants something for cheap. I even want stuff for cheap a lot of times. When I want a phone, I wait. I don't buy iPhones because those things never go down. But sometimes I want a phone, I'll wait a little bit. And then I'll buy it. And that's kind of natural. That's just the way it is. But you, as a driver, have to be disciplined enough to say, like, no, I'm not going to give you my car for cheap. It's just kind of insulting. And that's just kind of the way it is. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just the way the marketplace is. That's the way all marketplaces are. Are you going to be upset because Google stock, I think it's like at $500 now or something like that? I don't know. I really haven't kept up with that stuff in a while. Are you gonna be upset? No, that's just the price that it is. You want it for $1? Good luck trying to get it for $1. But I don't think I did an IPO at like $100, I think. So you wanted $100 for an IPO? Yeah, good luck. Go for it. Try to get it. Even though it's at like 500 right now or whatever it is. It's not gonna happen. That's just the way the marketplace is. So these passengers have to understand that, yeah, you don't have to, they're gonna have to pay for our service. And then the worst thing about this whole, like, the pack's just waiting it out, is that the drivers complain about the passenger, about this when the surge disappears, the next request they get is non-surge, and they go pick up that passenger, and that passenger is an a-hole. Why are you complaining? You're providing your car for cheap. What did you expect? Did you think you're going to get some high-end client? You think you're going to find some nice cashmere Neiman Marcus sweater at Walmart? Really, is that what you expected? Some of these drivers, these posts that I read are just, they're so insane. They're just, you guys are so, just, I don't understand it. I really don't. You guys are providing your car for cheap, and then you complain about the clients that you're getting. Well, ask for a higher price and you get better clients. Period. The ones that are waiting, these are the ones. This is the complaint I read one time. The surge was at 1.3, and they waited for it to go to 1 here in LA. The client wasn't. They didn't even want to give you the consideration of giving you an extra 30 cents. This is how cheap people are. It's probably horrible from the drive, but yeah, these are the type of people that we kind of don't want to serve, even as horrible as that sounds, because they don't want to even give you the consideration of giving you an extra 30 cents per mile, an extra 30%. Now, the average, if I was to take just take all the surge out of my rides for this past week, my average fare would be $7. That's the average ride. 30% of that is an extra like $2. These people are not willing to give you an extra $2 for your time and your effort, and you want to serve those really type of people. This is what you're doing when you're accepting. You willingly want to help that client. Well, then you get what you deserve. You want to help a cheap person, someone that doesn't want to compensate you fairly. Then that's what you get. That's no fault of. It's nobody's fault but your own. It's not Uber's fault. It's not the app's fault. It's not anybody else's fault but your own. It's not even the rider's fault. They're just taking advantage of the system, and you're providing that service for them to take advantage of. So it's nothing but your fault. Just stop complaining. So yeah, just know your client. Know who's going to pay surge and when. That's it. That's why you don't. Do you see a Neiman Marcus and a freaking Walmart right next to each other? No. That's because Neiman Marcus knows their client. That's because Walmart knows their client. Know your client. Know your clientele. So picking up packs at a higher rate if you've canceled on them at the lower default rate. I've had this happen to me many of time. I've canceled on so many people. And actually, I'm the one that initiates the conversation. They don't even know. The writer doesn't even know. I think our information is in their phone, but they don't dig down deep. If they are the type of person like microman, like, oh, I need to find who is canceling on me, and I stalk them. Oh, this is Brian canceled on me 5 times. I'm gonna go after him. I'm gonna find out. If they are that type of person, this is horrible. Nobody's that type of person. Maybe one out of whatever million rides that you give, you'll find somebody that's horrible. Nobody's gonna know that you canceled on them a whole bunch of times or even once. But if you do cancel on somebody, and then the next request that they get is a surge one, and you're going to take it, honestly, they're probably not even gonna care. I mean, they might mention it and say, "Oh yeah, I guess it's busy." Huh? You're like, "Yeah, it is kind of busy. Why do you ask?" Prod them. See what they're trying to do. Prod them a little bit. They're trying to get information from you, and you're trying to get information from them. You guys are kind of like Mexican standoff. Like, oh, well, who's gonna do what? They're like two male and a female bug. What's that one? The male gets eaten by. Is that the spider? Or the female just after they have sex, she freaking just like eats them. You're just kind of like off. You guys are both like staring at each other, like, all right, who's gonna flinch? And that's really, it's kind of part of the driving experience. It kind of makes it fun a little bit. You're there to educate. You guys educate them on the whole like not tip thing and complain to them about no being tipped. Just complain. Educate them about surge. Tell them, that's how I come to you. That the surge is there to give me an incentive to come to you, because the rate is too friggin' cheap here in LA in my market. A taxi is $2.60. The Uber is $1 per mile. It's like, that's ridiculous. And a lot of these, when you start telling people this, a lot of these old users that have been using like the past 3 years, actually maybe from the beginning, and they've been good users and they've been good customers and they know about the whole Uber experience and they're down with it. They look at you, or they sit in the back seat or whatever. Most of them sit in the back seat. They tell you. I've heard this many times. They just look at them. They tell you, you know what? You're right. I don't know how you guys survive. They freaking know this. They already know this. I mean, in a way, yeah, they are taking advantage. They're taking advantage of the low price too. But then again, you're providing the car. What are they going to do? Not provide. They're not going to take a ride if somebody wants to give them the cheap ride. No. Yeah, I would be like, hell yeah, let's go to Vegas for $100. Why not? You're the one that's giving the ride. I don't care. They shouldn't care. They've submitted the order. You've accepted. You've made your way to them. You've committed to them, and you're on their doorstep. You've committed. So yeah, it's they should have no qualms about paying the lower price, and they don't. But when you do tell them, okay, the surge is there to help us to make us come to you, and the cheap's already in. They tell me like, oh yeah, all the time, like, oh yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have to give a ride if it's too cheap. Yeah, I totally agree with you. They tell me that all the time. It's like I don't even shake my head at the end anymore. Just like, yeah, cool. This is a cool guy. He gets it. Yeah. One thing they do complain about though is when you guys ask for tips. That's the biggest thing I've been hearing complaints about. Man, they hate it when you guys ask for tips. This is horrible. But because I tell them I negotiate the price ahead of time. You know how much you're gonna pay ahead of time, and then they say like, "Wow, other drivers ask me for tips. I hate that junk." Like, yeah, because just be honest with them. That's what surge is. It's not our fault that Uber, in their wisdom, called it surge. I wish. See, I'm recording with my phone. I don't have another phone around. I should read you the definition of surge. But it's the first. If you read the definition of actual surge, it says the first, I think one is like quick movements, like something like that, something about movements, like being. But then the last one says for something about whatever. It doesn't say anything about price, but it's something that is unusually high in value or unusually high. And when I read the definition, I was like, whoever in the CEO or whoever in Uberville, the marketing department there, whoever thought that that at some point trying to turn surge into a positive thing by defining it as unusually high, when really it's supposed to, surge is kind of going to be around maybe 24/7. It's not going to be unusual. It's going to be pretty consistently high. um, yeah, you have those kind of two oxymorons now, where you want surge to be high for drivers all the time because we can make money off of surge, but then you have a definition of surge where it's unusually high. Unusually high means like it's every once in a while high. Like it's not the norm. So whoever in the Uber marketing department didn't like think before you pushing this out to your customers, especially if you wanted to sell this at a later point for your customers to be comfortable with. This is not very smart people. This is not very smart. Just trying to understand how later you're gonna brand this or turn this negative branding into something positive. It has a negative connotation to it. How did you guys expect to turn this into something positive for us drivers? I mean, it's gotten negative rap since its like launch, and yeah, surge was unusual at times, but now it's kind of consistent, and I think Uber wants it to be consistent. But calling it surge, the actual definition has the word unusual in it. It's not very smart, people. Not very smart from a marketing perspective. You guys need to change that quick. At least for us drivers, make it easier for riders to understand that this is just a market price. That's just what the market is. And even the surge pricing, even if it's at 2.5 here in LA, it's still considerably less than a taxi. So it's like, you guys gotta help us out here instead of just freaking fighting this all the time. So I have two more. Another long video. These videos are gonna be all chopped up together. So you're in a surge area and you don't get any pings. I mean, first of all, it could be your phone, because when the surge is high, the requests are probably coming in fast. You need to cycle your phone to airplane mode, get a fresh server, get a good connection. Number two is the size of the surge area itself. If it takes you like 5 to 8 minutes to get from one area to it depends on the north, south, east, west, whatever. If the surge areas are clustered together, you can go from one to another like within 5 or 8 minutes, then yeah, you're in a good surge spot. But if your surge area is friggin' huge and it takes you like more than 15 minutes and you gotta jump on the highway to go to somebody, that's just way too big. It's just way too big. I mean, the other drivers in that area, you're gonna have to really be disciplined on the whole, surge pricing thing and saying skipping calls. You're gonna have to be. Those big ones are so hard to surge to get to surge, and those big ones also too, when they surge, it's hard to find where the hotspot is. And that's another thing, is all those surge areas, they all have hotspots, and you as a driver have to find it. The surge areas I kind of stick to, let me see, so I stick to, when I drive here in LA, I kind of stick to the downtown LA one, the Silver Lake one, the Hollywood shape, and the West Hollywood shape. Those are the four that I've been kind of sticking to. Did I start counting with my phone? There. Yeah, whatever. So those are the four that I start sticking to. And I know where to go. There's like, each one of those shapes has about 5 different hotspots. I mean, you gotta know where those hotspots are, and at different times of day. When I drive, I go to one shape and I stick in the hotspot. I kind of drive a couple hours there, see where people take me. Actually, and if I get taken over to the west side on a different shape, I kind of know where to hang out there for a little bit. But I kind of started, and then as the morning progresses, like by mid-morning, I move to a different shape and a different hotspot to catch some like maybe hotel checkouts. And then I usually take a break, get my ass out of that car, and go for a walk around our beautiful Echo Park that we have here in LA. You ever see a bald dude walking around Echo Park? I mean, I think I'm gonna start taking a blanket, taking a nap, like all those the people in transients too. Man, they have it. That's the idea right there. That lake is freaking awesome. But yeah, so I get out of my car, I go walk around for a little bit, maybe go to Lason's, grab a salad, or get like some fruit from the fruit teller guy. Try not to get attacked by some geese. There's some geese there that are pretty freaking menace. Like come at you like rah, like well dude, just chill out, not doing anything. But anyways, so I go walk around, and then like when I come back online, try to look for the afternoon rush, maybe lunch people kind of going, people done with their meetings. So I go to a different part of the search shape, and then from there I go to the afternoon, then I go to another search shape, and I go to a different part of there. It's like, that's routine. I go to like 5 different areas in the morning. I don't do the evenings. I wish I could give you guys some evening tips, but I don't know. I've just never done it. Just naturally, I'm not a late person. I get up early. I've always been an early riser. Yeah, so I just work my Uber schedule around me, what fits me naturally. So yeah, when I'm driving, if you're not getting pings in a surge area, it's because you're probably not in a place that's surging, or you're not where people need you, and you need to hunt, go hunting, go fishing, look, think outside the box. Like, oh yeah, there's an event maybe over there. Oh, that's where they're coming from. Start, find a road. This is usually what I do, is I find like 2 or 3 roads, kind of not like, I guess, main arteries. Yeah, and I just kind of cut through the whole. I mean, you're probably driving with like 15 other drivers on that road, but maybe if you don't find that main one, maybe you can find like a little side. Cut through the freaking neighborhood. That's what I do all the time. I cut through the neighborhood when I'm driving and I'm waiting for a request. I don't park on the main Wilshire. I go in a block or 2, because on Wilshire there's like all the yards that everybody uses. Go in a little bit, get a little bit closer to somebody else. You're not gonna place yourself right next to the request. That's not gonna happen. But you can kind of guess and kind of make assumptions, of where their request might come from. Take a little bit. You got to take risks. But yeah, find main highways that cut through those shapes. Kind of go through them. Just drive a little bit. I mean, if you've had a good day, experiment a little bit. For maybe next time, you gotta experiment. Just think outside the box. You gotta go fishing. You gotta go hunting. Alright, so last one on this nice and wonderful long video for you guys. Short video. Accepting versus letting it time out. Doing the skip versus letting the whole thing count down. Just don't accepting it at all. Driver, I think he was in a little small market. At first I don't even think he was a full-time driver. He was a part-time driver, and his experience only consisted of 2 nights. My little experiment, this is like over February, March, April, May, June, July, 7 months. 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 months. So yeah, I think my pool was way bigger. But he did his over I think a weekend, just 2 days. So one day he decided to try my method, and he didn't get any surge requests. And then the next day he decided to try his method, which was not accepting the ride at all, letting it count down, and then letting the system kick him off. And then when the system kicked him off, he would log back in, and then he said he would get a surge ride. I don't know. And he said he did this consistently the whole evening. I don't know. I really don't know. The only thing I do have to say about that is you probably will get deactivated pretty quickly. However, I know there's other drivers out there that say their acceptance rate is like 10% or something, and they still drive. So I don't know. I mean, the acceptance rating thing is on our email, and it's something that they tell you have to do. So if they tell you have to do it, and it's in the email, that's why I kind of stay away from that. It's like, okay, you want me to accept? Fine, I'll play by that rule. I can accept, but like I said before, I've emailed them and said, well, I don't have to give the ride if I think it's too cheap. but I'll accept. That's fine. Because like I've said in the other ones that it's a contract, and you don't know the details of the contract until you accept. So I don't know. I mean, you guys can try it. Let me know if you get deactivated for whatever. So don't be surprised. Just be like, oh, okay, I got deactivated for not accepting. Yeah, because you will get deactivated for not accepting. There's a driver, right when these Chicago drivers are getting deactivated too. I think he was in Denver. He said he was deactivated for skipping, and then like later, like he come on and commented somebody, and I was like, yeah, me too. I wasn't accepting rides either, and then I got deactivated. I was like, what? Dude, first you said you were deactivated for skipping, and now you're saying you're deactivated because you weren't accepting. That's two different things. You guys gotta be straight with us, so we can help you. That's why when sometimes when drivers say, I got deactivated from using your method, Ryan, like, alright. I hate to say that I don't believe you. I mean, the driver that I was in contact with in Chicago, I do believe him because he sent me the email and he tells me, yeah, he's just doing what I was doing. And like I said, the Chicago office, man, they're just being real, they're just being mean to people, man. Sucks too, because man, I look at their Uber Eats, I subscribe to the Twitter thing, and I used to live in Chicago. Man, they got like Kumas, and they got Diagianos, and I'm just like, oh, and like the saliva just coming down my face. I'm like, man, sucks. They got such good food there. And but yet whoever is in charge of the deactivation, whatever numbers, is such a douchebag. They're just being such a, just like, they are being, man, I don't know, what are they being? They're being like, just kindergarten, like, teacher watching over everybody. Don't do that. No, you can't do that. Go take a time out. You can't play no more. They're just being like that. It's like ridiculous. Man, but they have such good food. Their options are so superior. So good. So I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. This will be a super long one. Hope you guys enjoy. And I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do another video from this great, same position of an email or a newsletter I like to read. Yeah, my response to a Pando Daily article that was that Shine One Cabby gave me. When I read that thing, I was just like, what is this? This is the stuff that we got to freaking fight, people. It's horrible. Man. God, especially the tech people over there in San Francisco. Oh, God, they just... Oh, man, they do not see our side at all. And it's kind of is their problem because they're reporters. They should do maybe a little bit of investigation, or just have a thought before they start typing. But jeez, some of the stuff they're coming up with is pretty bad. Stuff that we gotta change. Gotta change the whole mentality of the rider and the passenger and the part of the service that we provide. So here's a long one. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please excuse me, as usual. Day number 4, fight 5. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, day number 5 of my sickness. Hopefully I'll be on the road tomorrow. I'm hoping. I don't know. It's not looking too good. And the banking account's really not going to look good this week. But yeah. Like I said, on all my videos, like, comment, subscribe if you want to. Follow me on Twitter. Twitter is the best thing. I do my Meerkat videos. Those are pretty good. I'm kind of sticking with the Meerkat side. Periscope, maybe I'll do one every once in a while. I just like Meerkat because I can send you the link. You guys can watch it later if you want to. Or if you're like, if you catch me halfway through the session, I'll tweet the link. You can watch you can listen to me ramble on in the first part of the session. I'm kind of talking a little bit more because then I realize that if I don't talk, if no one's there, you're just not in the replay. It sucks. So I might as well just entertain. So I'll just entertain you guys while we're waiting for people to come and join. But you can guys watch those later. They're pretty good. They're pretty entertaining. And yeah, I hope they help you guys a lot. Yeah, because man, I missed out on a good Monday. the surge I think was like 4 up here. So I didn't even want to look. I haven't even turned. I just barely turned on my. I just logged on. I downloaded the update and I just barely turned on just because I wanted to see what it was like. I didn't even want to look. I just didn't want to. I'm not the type to just. I'm not gonna look and be like, oh man, I'm missing out. Just nah. Tomorrow's another. It'll be there tomorrow. It'll be there a month from now. It's nothing to worry about. So thanks, guys. As usual, drive safe, be safe, and yeah. Oh, if you're in LA, I'm working on a let me get here. Oh, this has some battery on. Okay, so I'm working on creating a driver group here in LA, a surge pricing group here in LA for us. It's a text group. So if you want to join my group, if you're in LA and you want to join my group, send a text to, I'm not going to put it down in the description because this is going to get all, okay? But if you send a text to 424-260-6414, just a simple join, I'll add you to the email list, and hopefully we can start getting together and start talking about pricing and what we should kind of agree on what to take and how much we should start taking, because this is what we need to do. If we need to start working together and agreeing on price, and agreeing on minimums, because yeah, it's way too cheap. Even the first pump surge is way too cheap. You sometimes it only goes 2 or 3. You need it to be a little bit more, just a little bit. But yeah, if you send a text to what that number again was, here it was 260-6414. Just join. It's my personal. It's a Google Voice number. It just goes directly to me, my email address. I put you guys on a big list. I'm gonna start doing like little meetings, hopefully different shapes, and then we can start getting together and just talk about deactivation, talk about whatever comes up in a positive tone, and just keep positive, help each other. Yeah, thanks everyone. Be safe, drive safe. Thanks for watching.